Sony, gonna Sony. How hard is Sony this week, you might ask? Well, Mysterio back on the table, even though we know from a couple years ago, Sony actively hired writers to work on a Mysterio standalone film. So apparently, again...
Mysterio Kraven movie.
Mysterio and Kraven, right. Those were the things that they hired people to work on. And coincidentally enough, before those could even get off the ground, Venom and Morbius were complete. So that should tell you how their structuring is going. Is there anybody that wants more of these, especially on Mysterio standalone?
I know one person, but I'm certain they're faking it.
Okay, because not even I want this, and Mysterio's my favorite Spider-Man villain.
No, I would like to have Mysterio in Spider-Man that Marvel touches. Right. I'm like afraid they're going to attempt to have the charm, but Disney's going to be like, based on how their contracts and everything are, obviously we don't know 100% all the details, but say they can't get, I can't remember his name right now. Gyllenhaal. They can't get...
He's rumored to be the one.
So. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing is, like... There's nowhere you can go with it if it's outside the MCU, because, again, this would be one of those Sony-adjacent movies, right? So it's like half canonical of sorts thing.
So they're pulling what
Morbius and Venom and all this.
Yeah, basically, you can ignore it.
Yeah, right. And again, like, the rumor is they're going after Gyllenhaal. There was also some rumors that they might not, but who knows? It would make sense if it's Gyllenhaal, unless...
they'll go Gyllenhaal, because why would they not want the one that was in the MCU?
Exactly. Right. You want that connection there.
Especially because you want to make the everyday person who has no idea that Sony and Marvel are two different companies. And Spider-Man is not a actual full Marvel property. They're going to want all those people to be like, oh, look, they're making another one. I wonder if Spider-Man will be in it.
Which, at that time, he probably will be.
That's true.
I mean, because
and it will
Sony...
be whatever the new Spider-Man or not new Spider-Man is, which is really confusing.
Oh, it'll be Holland. They want Holland.
Well, no.
They'll never not use Holland.
I know it'll be Holland, but is it MCU Spider-Man or Sony Spider-Man?
Like Venom's
that's the real question.
See, here's my thing. Like with this new deal that they announced, I've had to completely change how I look at this. Disney have that quarter stake financially in these properties now.
Yep.
So they've obviously got to sign off and everything.
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal, yes, it's a Sony-owned character, but it's a Marvel contract. Mm-hmm. So they're obviously going to have some say in it now. Like Venom and Morbius is a write-off because that's all Sony, so is Venom too. So got to wait until you possibly get to maybe something that's halfway decent. But it's just, what do you do and where do you go?
That's the big one. And I understand what they're trying to do. Like, here's my understanding of how I'm looking at Sony. Sony's going, well, we don't have the heroes to do what they did with the Avengers, but our Avengers is called Sinister Six. So if we give each member, or at least 4 out of 6 of them, standalone films, people will show up to see the Sinister Six. It's a smart idea, but it's Sony's execution that worries me.
But is it purely just Sony's execution?
And that's the thing. Like, once we see Morbius, I think we're gonna know as clear as day how involved. Well, actually, no, it has to be Venom. It'd have to be Venom 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's Venom 2 is post deal of whatever the new deal is. So
but is it because they're filming now, isn't they?
And the deal went through already.
Yeah, the new deal was like what, October, I think. So
no, it was like August. It wasn't that, or August, September time.
Well, August was when it was announced he was leaving, because D23 was end of August. Yeah. So yeah, it was
it must have been like September then, because it was only a month, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's like October, November. So they maybe had time
start?
to work some stuff out. January, I believe.
Oh, was it only? Wow, is that recent? I thought it was started earlier than that.
No.
Well, I suppose they could change stuff on the fly. They added the Where's Spider-Man stuff in Morbius like now. So
true.
Yeah, the deal was around really late September.
So. Jeez, yeah. And that's when Andy Serkis was announced. That's when pre-production was starting. So, I mean, like you said, since Disney has a financial stake in this now, Morbius stake, get it? Anyways,
No,
that financial stake in it. Maybe this Mysterioso
Will you stop
will
it?
work itself out.
Wrestling now?
Shake, can you pull his mic?
Punch him in the head.
We're on the same mic, so
Oh, then just punch him in the temple.
You're just gonna hear my head bash off the table, and I'm just quiet for the rest of the show.
no, because then that means I'd have to try figuring out what you're doing over there.
Oh, that's true.
So sorry, guys, I can't make him MIA.
I don't know, like so by end of the year, I think. Well, here's the thing: by the time Morbius is out, Spider-Man will already be a few weeks into shooting. Venom will be
Morbius out?
end of July.
Oh wow! Then yeah.
Yeah, and we'll have the trailer for Venom will be out. They'll be officially talking about the third Spider-Man film. Probably his next appearance even will be teased for the MCU, the last appearance. Do you think that's when we hear about the future, like at San Diego Comic-Con? Do you think maybe they come out and they're like, well, here's the new universe. Well, this is officially it.
I could see Sony pulling the trigger that early before even hearing if Morbius is successful or not.
Like how you say pulling the trigger, like they're actually shooting the MCU. They're like, let us in!
Basically.
Pac movie.
It's just Amy Pascal on stage at Comic Con, like execution style with Feige. It's like, bang.
She's like, announce it. She's like, keeping up, like, yelling at him. She's like, do it. Make the announcement, Feige.
I can see possibly them in D23 and now having something to say about Spider-Man.
So this year's D23, I believe, is in Japan, right?
Yeah.
So Venom does big overseas. Spider-Man is huge in Japan.
True.
That would kind of make sense.
Oh no.
I'm getting worried now. I don't like this.
I was hoping you were going to say there is no D23 this year, and that's why I was saying what I was saying. Damn. Darn it.
No, they just alternate. The one here that, actually the international one's becoming really important too now because Disney's worldwide presence. I don't know. It's interesting. Here's the thing. I think the takeaway from this conversation is none of us want the standalone Mysterio movie.
Nope.
But we're probably going to get it because Sony has to put out 2 movies a year now because we know that's what they're doing.
Oh no.
But before we move on, what would you want from a standalone Mysterio movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal?
Would you want it to be a prequel to where he became actually Mysterio,
No.
or do you want it?
I mean, it's just him
after he was
working at Stark
shot.
Industries.
Yeah. It's him working at unnamed industries. Yeah.
And some guy that looks like Tony Stark but isn't, just making fun of him.
This is Donnie Tart.
Tart.
He works at not Arc Industries. Just, Sony
He
would have
works
to...
at Kratz Industries.
I mean, a hypothetical Mysterio movie. A sequel? Because we know he's not dead. So maybe the interim to what he's been doing before he shows up in Sinister Six? Pulling the strings behind the scenes?
What I was going to say was, didn't they bring Quentin Beck back from the dead originally?
Yes.
It's the whole thing with, like, he made a deal to get come back alive.
Right.
What if you go that route and then make Mysterio magical?
Why, that could be a good one. Yeah.
And then kind of like make a bit like a Dante's Inferno where he's got to crawl back out of hell or something. They'll never do it because it's a PG-13 Spider-Man movie.
I was going to say, and for that, Sony would have to...
Going dark.
Sony would have to spend like $200 million on that, and they ain't doing that. Like, they're not spending more than 75 on that one.
Mitch, you got to stop trying to give them ideas.
It's 2020. I'm trying to be positive.
The 2 people I know from Sony that listen to this podcast, they're literally listening to what we're saying and scratching it off, going, and not that one, and not that one, and not that.
We need to make sure that Sony never hears this podcast.
I mean, if they hear it, it might be good. So, I'd enjoy it, so that's all I care about.
What we really want is not a Mysterio movie, but we're probably going to get it. So,
like, just make it like Donnie Darko, but with Mysterio.
Yeah?
Why are we having Jake Gyllenhaal doing Donnie Darko again.
Why not?
Why not? It's a good movie.
So is he going to become also the Prince of Arabia?
I mean, sure, why not? Like, Disney did it once.
Sands of Time, you know? Like, he's literally going to be a mashup of everything. No, so it's actually going to be revealed that the Mysterio standalone movie is actually the sequel to Source Code.
Oh, I'm in for that. I love Source Code. Yes.
So it actually never happened.
More Duncan Jones. Was it him that directed that? I think it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was Duncan Jones. I might be wrong on that. It doesn't matter. Anyways, that was that. That's the Mysterio and Sony talk. So till next time, everyone.